Connie and Doug, there was a lot of hushed conversations between Republican senators throughout this afternoon trying to add up the numbers. How close were they? As you said, Connie, there are 40 Republican members of the Senate and only 19 votes for this measure. So over half of the caucus voted against it. It is possible for a plane to take off with losing an engine.
Right.
What I just heard from that aviation expert, Lad Sanger, who's based in Texas, who I'm going to be putting together a package with him in a couple hours, is that probably the main issue here with this one is that, yes, they lost one engine under the wing, but as they were taking off, they also lost the second engine on the tail. This intersection of 12th Street and Rowan Street will be turned into one of the main entrances for Waterfront Park. People like Meadows think that this will not only attract folks living in the West End, but also more businesses. This fire truck has had 3 different logos on it over the last 3 years. Initially, the department was called New Chapel Fire, the entity started by Jamie Knoll. Then, that organization was ousted in June 2024, and the fire district created a new entity called New Albany Township Fire Rescue. In a very crowded backyard in Shepherdsville, Kentucky,
my dad one time said that his dream was to own a junkyard.
Emily Howell sees the axles and alternators from her past.
I totaled that one, but I still think there's hope for it.
One car she does not want to see again is this one, a red 1996 GMC Sierra.
I get aggravated at the whole situation.
She bought the car at a public auction at the LMPD impound lot for $1,026. It may seem like a lot for a 27-year-old car with condition truly unknown. For her, it was more about what came with the truck.
The kayak and the fishing poles that were pictured is ultimately why I upped the bid and just went for it.
The pictures on the auction post included 2 toolboxes, several fishing poles, a kayak, and a rolling dolly. And it said, carefully review the pictures and make your own value determination.
Like, that's just the only thing in the picture, so there was nothing to lead me to believe it wasn't going to be there.
Howell went to pay her invoice and watched as the tow truck driver she contracted hooked up the truck.
And that's when I noticed the kayak was no longer on top.
When it got dropped off in her driveway, she took her own photos and saw all the outdoor gear was gone.
The toolbox in the back is raised up because you can tell somebody rummaged through it.
Tow lot employees told her the previous owner had a court order to get his belongings back, but they wouldn't give her a copy. Howell gave us the name of the man she tracked down as the previous owner, and a court media representative told us no such order existed. She also messaged the man on Facebook, and he said he couldn't get his items because he was in jail at the time.
I know that he did not get his items out of that truck.
LMPD told us people can get items out of impounded vehicles up until the sale is final. They would answer no questions specifically about Howell's case. So where did this stuff go? I submitted an open records request for video of the truck in a specific area of the impound lot called the auction corral for 6 nights before the sale went final. My video request was denied, saying the records were part of an active criminal investigation, and the suspects in this investigation are unaware that they are acting within a camera, and the premature release of the requested video would tip them off that they are under criminal investigation.
You don't steal from people. You don't take things that aren't yours.
LMPD would not confirm its involvement in any investigation. Howell has heard nothing about the investigation, and she's chalked up this whole experience as a loss. I don't want to insult you, but did it make you feel like I got taken advantage of?
Oh, absolutely.
A picture was worth $1,000, especially one with tools, fishing poles, and a kayak. But Emily Howell can't float down the river on a picture. Travis Breese, WHAS 11 on your side. Why did you want to help this story get on the air?
We're supposed to identify problems and point them out. And when our leadership doesn't recognize those issues, what are we supposed to do? What's the next step?
A current Metro Louisville jail officer agreeing to speak anonymously about the issues he sees in LMDC. On September 24th, 2024, Officer David Fulner was escorting inmate Dante Williams into a holding cell in handcuffs. We obtained this video from a source within the jail. As he's about to close the door, Williams appears to spit in Fulner's direction. 2 investigative documents obtained through an open records request confirm the spitting. Although you can see Fulner is just inches away from closing the door, he enters the cell and throws Williams against the back wall. What do you see wrong in that video?
You had a clear path to exit. You didn't have to re-enter the cell.
As the video continues, Williams spits again. Fulner starts punching him and leaning down on his back. They stand up, and the pair crashes into the other side of the cell. Fulner gains control and holds Williams in an arm lock position until help arrives.
Use of force incidents that occur where an individual is restrained are rare. And I think that's why this was so concerning to officers.
In the PSU investigation, Fulner said his goal was to secure Williams's handcuffs to the back bench. The report says Williams was uninjured and refused medical treatment. The jail-confirmed body camera of the incident does exist, but has not released it. The video we have from a camera in the cell matches several details in the investigation. The investigation says Fulner violated both the Employee Code of Conduct and use of force policies. A jail spokesperson says Fulner was never placed on administrative leave, he's still working there, and a final decision on his discipline is still pending.
They should be using de-escalation tactics first.
We also showed the video to Leonard Vair, who has served as an expert witness in 140-plus cases involving prisons or jails, and has over 26 years' experience working in correctional facilities. I did not want to just focus on one incident, so I asked LMDC for every PSU investigation of officers improperly restraining, fighting with, or assaulting inmates since 2021. In a PSU investigation from May 2022, less than 2 months after Jail Director Jerry Collins took over, Officer Thomas Kraus canceled inmate Miller's hour out because he was shouting profanities and allegedly threatening another officer. To get Miller to go to his cell, Kraus pepper sprayed him 3 times and punched him twice, one just feet away from his cell. Inmate Miller threw 1 retaliatory punch, ran into his cell, where Officer Kraus followed him and punched him at least 6 more times. Are you seeing a lot of instances where officers should be leaving inmates alone and they're choosing not to?
Yes.
The report says Miller's face, quote, was in disarray, but without any bruising. Officer Kraus was suspended for 5 days. I first asked the jail spokesperson for an interview with Chief Jerry Collins about officers assaulting inmates, staffing issues, and more on February 26th. They never gave me a clear answer and instead answered questions over email on April 16th, just 1 day before our story was set to air. In response to officers engaging with inmates when they should leave them alone, like Leonard Vair said, Major Jason Logsdon wrote in part, quote, "Officers are required to make split-second decisions in rapidly evolving and unpredictable situations. LMDC officers undergo more training than any other corrections officers in the state of Kentucky. In total, I reviewed 17 investigations from 2021 to 2024 where officers violated their standard operating procedure when restraining an inmate. That's 1 every 3 months."
The total numbers itself isn't the concerning issue for me. What's concerning is the fact that these kinds of things continue to happen, but the level of discipline isn't significant.
At least 7 times, an officer had their discipline reduced after a meeting to discuss the penalty, like this sergeant who went from a recommended 20-day suspension down to a written reprimand.
You sort of are creating the culture where these types of things become permissible.
Major Logsdon said, "Leadership at Metro Corrections takes use of force seriously and applies appropriate disciplinary action. Officers have the right to appeal those decisions." Major Logsdon said on March 25th that LMDC had 311 sworn staff. That's 131 officers short from the 442 the department said it was budgeted for in its 2023 fact sheet.
The morale of our department is at extreme low. That's been an issue. It was an issue when Collins took the role of chief of the department. He knew it was an issue. He said he was going to address the issue, and the issue has only gotten worse.
Hiring more recruits would likely help the low morale, but this officer says to keep those recruits, serious change is needed in the jail.
And it's midnight, and we just hear. We were kind of distraught. Like, what did we do?
Schnitzelburg seems like a quiet neighborhood.
Not really. We didn't think about it.
Until you look up and see your 100-ton neighbors in the sky.
That took off probably right over us.
While it is loud, it's also an approved zone for the Quieter Home program. The Louisville Regional Airport Authority came by both Keith Katz and Zach Bain's houses earlier this year to give them sound-resistant windows and doors.
They did a good job. Everything opens and closes.
Both men are fans of the end result, but not fans of the paperwork.
I tried everything I could to not sign it.
What % of them use avigation easements?
Oh, 99.
Muhammad Ali is one of many airports that require people to sign an avigation easement if they want this sound insulation. It's an agreement that says if the airport authority tries its best to sound insulate your home, you cannot come back afterwards and sue the entity for any issues related to flights over your house. One passage says a person waives all rights to sue for any and all claims and demands of any nature, including injury or property damage. Is it common that that homeowners see these easements and they say, you know, no thanks, I'm all right, I don't want to sign this?
That does happen. It's unusual. But by and large, homeowners recognize that trade-off, and the value of the sound insulation that's provided is often substantial. And so doing their own personal risk analysis, they say it's worth the risk.
Airport lawyer Peter Kirsch says the language SDF is using is standard. And for anything like a crash in the sky or an airplane part falling onto a home, a person would probably sue the airline and never the airport.
There's nothing unlawful about what the airport is doing. The airport, I think, is just overreaching.
Sean Paris is a real estate lawyer in Oldham County who does not deal with airport law, but did talk to us about property rights. He says regardless of an easement, it's hard to imagine a lawsuit against the airport that could be successful. But the broad language in this contract gives the airport a lot of leeway to increase activity.
The nuisance that the airport operations may present to those homeowners is only going to increase. So we don't have to look to catastrophic events to try to put this agreement into context.
Both Bain and Katz understand what they signed and hope it doesn't come back to haunt them.
Resale value on the house doesn't hurt the resale value on the house because it is for everyone ever.
They are thankful for the sound insulation, but would like to see some of the language tightened up to give homeowners more peace of mind.
Why do you have to have those rights? I mean, you're going to keep on flying anyway. What are you protecting yourself against?